welcome to this deep dive. You know, when a massive technological shift happens, it's rarely obvious until you're suddenly the last person holding on to the old way.
Yeah, exactly.
Sticking with an internal combustion engine right now is starting to feel a lot like holding onto a pager in the smartphone era. It's rapidly becoming, well, an economic liability.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you look at the recent Bloomberg NEF data.
Right, where battery prices plunged, what, 14% in 2023 alone?
Yeah, 14%. And I mean, that price drop completely rewrites the financial rule book for transportation. It's no longer just about, environmental incentives.
Right.
It's pure economics now. The math actually indicates we're hitting peak oil much faster than anticipated, well before 2030, with global demand projected to max out at 102 million barrels a day.
Wow, 102 million. So, looking at what's actually driving that peak, I think your instinct is to picture, sleek luxury electric
Sure,
cars.
the ones you see in the commercials.
Right, right. But UBS data points somewhere much smaller, which is fascinating. In 2025, electric vehicles displaced 2.3 million barrels of oil per day.
That is a massive number.
It is. And out of that, two and three-wheelers accounted for 1.1 million barrels. Meanwhile, passenger cars were far behind at 741,000.
Yeah.
But wait, I mean, the math on that feels a bit off to me. A commuter scooter has a tiny battery compared to an SUV. How are these small vehicles displacing significantly more oil than passenger cars?
It really comes down to the sheer scale of the global fleet and also its turnover rate.
Okay, scale meaning just the sheer number of them.
Exactly. We're talking about a staggering 1.12 billion two- and three-wheelers globally.
Billion with a B.
Yes, a massive fleet.
Hmm.
And because they have much shorter lifespans than cars, the entire fleet replaces itself rapidly.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, across Asia, people are upgrading to electric models simply because the daily operating cost is a fraction of what they'd pay for gas. I mean, the adoption curve is almost vertical.
Because it makes immediate financial sense for their daily commute.
Spot on.
So the immense volume and rapid turnover of these cheap commuter vehicles are quietly gutting oil demand at the bottom. But, it's easy to understand how a cheap scooter replaces a gas one. That logic completely breaks down when you scale up to a 40-ton freight truck.
You would think so, yes.
Right. Yet Sun-Sur's data shows pure electric heavy trucks hit a 50% market penetration rate in China in December 2025, half the market.
It's incredible.
How did a historically unelectrifiable industry flip so quickly?
So the breakthrough wasn't just lighter or denser batteries. It was actually a shift in infrastructure. China made battery swapping economically viable for heavy transport.
Battery swapping, like instead of plugging it in.
Exactly. Instead of a commercial truck sitting idle for hours to charge, it just pulls into a station, swaps a massive battery pack in minutes, and gets right back on its predictable, localized route.
Wow, so you completely eliminate the downtime.
You do. And suddenly diesel just can't compete on cost per mile. Plus, you add in India's initiative to replace 800,000 diesel buses with electric ones by 2030.
800,000.
Yeah, it's a huge shift. And you really start to see the heaviest fuel consumers vanishing from the grid.
Okay, so if both the daily commuters and the heavy freight fleets are abandoning diesel and gas, I mean, the traditional fueling model is in serious trouble. What happens to the standard gas station when its core product just loses its customer base?
Well, it becomes a survival game, really. Traditional fuel demand is shrinking so severely that we're seeing 110,000 Chinese gas stations forced into a massive ecosystem redesign.
A redesign. Like adding a charging station out back.
No, much bigger than that. They aren't just adding a charger in the corner. They are fundamentally transforming into integrated energy hubs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you pull in, and depending on your vehicle's needs, you access fast-charging electricity, green hydrogen, or, legacy gas. They have to diversify their energy offerings just to survive the structural collapse of pure oil demand.
It's incredible to see how pure economics, from the turnover rate of Asian scooters to battery swapping logistics for Chinese heavy trucks, are quietly dismantling the traditional oil empire.
It really is a complete transformation.
Yeah. So the next time you hear someone debate when peak oil is coming, you can tell them to stop looking at the luxury SUVs and start looking at the delivery scooters. Thank you so much to all of you listening for joining us on this deep dive and exploring these massive shifts with us. We really appreciate you tuning in.
Definitely. And as we leave you to think about all this, consider the broader map. As electric vehicles erase up to 20 million barrels of daily oil demand by 2040, how will this sudden, massive loss of leverage permanently alter geopolitical tensions in historically oil-dependent regions like Iran and the broader Middle East?
That is a defining question for the decades ahead. The world is upgrading its network, and you definitely don't want to be the one left waiting for a beep on your pager while everyone else has moved on.